You have reached area code 313.
What? All my live niggas in the 313.
As we say in the D, what up, though? I'd like to shout out my man DJ Los. Thank you, brother. One of our legendary DJs around these parts. I'm your host, man. I go by New to Simple NDW. I'm sorry, I came in here a little late, man. You know, I'm gonna say this again. I've said it several times, man. Shout out to all of those content creators, and those folks that's out here been doing these things. You know, that make it seem easy. You know, but it ain't. You know, there's some work involved in these things when you be trying to put this stuff together, man. College football season is over with. We crowned a national champion yesterday. Oh, by the way, going to the description, man, you'll see a description to show you all the little DMs. Go check it out. See if you can get over there at YouTube over there at No Fan TV 20 at No Fan TV 20 on YouTube. Hit the like, subscribe button, you know, and leave a comment. Don't, you know, we love them comments. Love the comments. You keep them comments. Keep the comments coming so we have some dialogue to talk about. We're talking about Michigan today. And unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about Michael Penix Jr. too on the back end, just the same. Let me see what I got here. Boom. There we go. Yeah. So we crowned the national champion yesterday. Michigan University crowned themselves. I think the last one was at 97. It was a co-champion, though. They were co-champions with Nebraska. That's when, you know, they had the AP poll, coaches poll. I think they said the last outright was in 1948. The last outright title that they won, you know, on the up and up by themselves or what have you, which was a long time ago. But I think this makes number 10 or number 11. They created some hell of a milestones this year. I became first NCAA college football team to reach 1,000 victories. I think Alabama right behind them and not far behind. And Ohio State follows up. I think they coming in third. But it was great. I mean, wow, it was a crazy season. The head coach, Jim Harbaugh, was suspended 6 games, the 3 first games at the beginning of the year and the last 3 games at the end of the year. And that's when that mantra came out, bet. You know, them guys, you know, they kind of stuck together, came up with a little mantra. They had the Michigan versus everybody. And they was out to prove some things, you know, and this was like this is the follow-up season after they came in there or went out there and played TCU and, you know, came up a little short with TCU, turned into a shootout. But things changed, man. You know, they got Alabama in the draw, took care of business with Alabama and came in, and Monday night was I don't want to call it perfect, but Monday night was a great game. Now, I titled this Michigan fans / Harbaugh haters, and I did this for a reason, man. We go talk just slightly about Harbaugh a little bit, and I'm gonna be the first to admit, looking, you know, hearing a lot of the speculation and different things like that. Naturally, the news networks and sports channels and different things like that creating stories. I don't even go say he's just trying to create a story, but I'm sure his name is out there rolling around because as we going into the NFL weekend of the wild card weekend, you got teams, you know, that's making some moves. Ron Rivera got fired in Washington. Gentleman in Los Angeles Chargers coach got fired about 3-4 weeks ago. Raiders got a spot open. There's some jobs out there. I think the Patriots gonna be looking for a new job, and I think Mike Vrabel got fired over there in Tennessee. So some jobs out there. Also, Atlanta. So his name, I'm most definitely gonna be circulating out there. And I'm gonna put this out here right now. Um, I can see the interest, interest in him, just period. You know what I'm saying? And it is nothing. I mean, that's to be expected. That was to be expected because when you got something good going on, usually some folks start calling. Been riding with Harbaugh for quite a while, even when he was a coach at over there at San Diego State. I was really enjoying him there. He went on from San Diego State, I think, to Stanford, and Stanford went on to the NFL. 4 seasons, 2 NFC championship games, 1 Super Bowl appearance, a game against his brother, his older brother, John. Then he was, I think they fired him over there in San Francisco. He made his way back into the college ranks. Been at Michigan now, I think, 6 seasons or so, 6 or 8 seasons or whatever the case may be. But I've been a Harbaugh advocate, not just when he became a Michigan head coach. I followed him pretty much throughout his career. I enjoyed him as a quarterback, even when he was a quarterback for the University of Michigan. And some of his playing days within the NFL weren't as great as his time when he spent at U of M, but he made a living. But it says Michigan fans, Harbaugh haters, and this is the thing. No, you don't have to like everybody. That's impossible. Everybody ain't gonna have fans or like or whatever, and it's gonna be some things about this particular person that he or she may do, you may not like, but at the end of the day, I like to think that we got to go and look at we have to go and pay attention to the actual job. I like to call it separating the player from the man. It's two different, it's two different things. Let's do this because I got a couple of videos. I'll do at least 1 to 2 videos. I'm on show 2. Let me do this podcast disclaimer real quick. No Fan Sports Podcast is providing this podcast as a public service, but it is neither a legal interpretation nor a statement of No Fan Sports Podcast policy. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or a recommendation by No Fan Sports Podcast. The views expressed by guests are their own, and the appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. Views and opinions expressed by myself are those of my own and do not necessarily reflect the view of No Fan Sports Podcast or any of its officials. And also, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And also, when you get a chance, man, get over there and check out that mission statement too, because we have to put that out there because we like to talk about stuff like not just the stuff that you got on the stat sheet. We like to talk about the intangibles too as well. And here's a statement. It goes on and explains to you, gives you a definition of a fan and a groupie and a slappy. No Fan Sports. No Fan is a fan groupie slappy free zone. We here at No Fan are dedicated not just to analytics, metrics, or statistics that are part of any given sport, but also the non-measurables that can't and doesn't get recognition on the stat sheet, things like heart, mental tenacity, drive, and hunger, etc., as well as being able to understand the difference between athleticism versus actual skills or fundamentals. Instead of being caught up like a deer in the highlights, as you are over his or her physical gifts from above. Yeah, that's fan talk. No, we don't do that. We speak of X's and O's that many of you may mistake for hate. Now that we got that out the way, what's up, Bruce? Now that we got that out the way, like I was saying, so naturally his name is gonna pop up quite often, and I've been riding Harbaugh's train for quite a while. And when he came home to Michigan, I think a lot of people was you got a lot of folks that want instant gratification, and I'm a realist when it comes to this, especially with football, and when you bringing new coaches in and programs. I think it takes a good 4 to 6 years to actually implement a program, whether it be on a collegiate level or professional level. I think they need at least a good 4 to get themselves together. And speaking of 4, this is the reason the 4 years is what 4 years he got in San Francisco before it was time for him, before they felt the need to terminate him. This is even after 2 NFC championships, 1 Super Bowl appearance. And keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So when you building a team, you come in, you got to get, before we even get to W's, man, we got to start, start trying to create a culture. You create a culture, an atmosphere, winning atmosphere. You want your players to like ride and follow you and be well in tune with the coach. And it seems like that's what he was able to do at Michigan. It seemed like they have a real close, tight-knit family, not only with the players, but the coaches as well. So yes, his name is coming up and a lot of vacancies coming out. But I argue that he should stay at Michigan. If it was me, and I'm just gonna give scenario. Say if I was him and what I'm looking at, we did the NFL, and yes, that's the pinnacle of football coaching, the head coaching. Well, you went out there, you done it. I'm looking at age. I'm looking at a long-term bag, and I'm looking at less headache. Stay at Michigan. I think he can just retire Michigan head coach, and they have to build another little hall. You got Schembechler Hall. They have a Harbaugh hall soon if he keeps up at this particular pace. I think stay at Michigan, write your own checks, write your own ticket. By the time you finish, you walk out of there probably with at least $750 million, easy. So I'm thinking, I'm looking at it like, the college atmosphere. You kind of came in and changed the game a little bit. Went out there, had them satellite camps, was taking teams around. They was doing little satellite camps all over the country, all over the world. And it kind of ruffled some feathers, as you can see, with the NCAA just vying and come on. And also, from what I understand, he's an advocate of the players getting paid properly too. I got a podcast coming on that. Talked to a good friend of mine. We want to discuss the transfer portal and the NILs. Both of which I'm cool with. But there's a but, so we can talk about that too. I'll keep you posted on it. But nevertheless, so what I'm saying is, I think the job, you stay at Michigan, money be longer, less headache. You have tenure. You have more tenure, I say. At best, what is that? Belichick's been over there in New England about good 20 seasons. I don't see a nice run like that. I think Tomlinson 17 in over in Pittsburgh. But and Pittsburgh, speaking of Pittsburgh, this is the only one franchise in the NFL that I really kind of give they props as far as the internal business. The ownership, the owners, management. In my lifetime, I've only known the four head coaches at Pittsburgh: Chuck Noll, Cowher. Oh no, it's only 3 that I know of now that I'm thinking of: Chuck Noll, Cowher, and now you have Mike Tomlinson. I don't think it's another. Well, I'm almost certain it's not another organization within the NFL that can boast those claims. They was also the organization that came off the Rooney Rule to at least interview more black players. We can talk about that too one day. One day, real soon, we get on that. But I guess my argument still is, like I said, it's gonna be tenure. It's gonna be tenure. You go get longevity. You go be there. The money is gonna be. You go have the money and you go have the tenure. You just be there and kind of like ride out into the sunset. So I advocate that he stays there. But back to Michigan in the national championship. Like I said, they won one in 1997 under Coach Lloyd Carr at that time. Which was a great thing. Like I said, it was a shared co-championship, and we caught a lot of flack about that too, just the same. But here's my thing, and this is how we got to this particular point. I'm on record of saying, Lloyd won us one in 97, but Michigan's problems extended shortly thereafter. The tide in college football was changing. And I think Lloyd was stuck in the past at one point, in one segment. I think he eventually, retired. And they say he retired, but I think he was kind of forced out a little bit before the 07 season, and they brought in Rich Rod. But one of the things with Lloyd, I just think he failed to adjust to the new times and the change in the way, your quarterback play and different things like that. He was still stuck at the pocket passer, big 6-foot cat, sit in the pocket, and Michigan kind of fell victim to that all the way around, because this is what they looking at daily in practice and often. This is what they working with, and they go up against more teams with more athletic quarterbacks, and they just, they just stuck. And this was going on for quite a while, all under his tenure. Now, we didn't have that problem when Gary Moeller was coaching. I mean, I thought Gary Moeller had the potential to be arguably the greatest Michigan coach of all time. I thought he was a little bit of bold and a little bit of ingenuity, something new he brought in too. Had a little incident, ended up getting fired at Michigan, and came Lloyd Carr. Lloyd Carr problem was something similar to, I would say, something similar to what happened to my man John Cooper over in Ohio State. John Cooper, excellent coach, recruiter, had great record, one of Ohio State's all-time greatest coaches, but he had one problem. Coach Cooper I think he was 1-10 versus Michigan, and that eventually got him fired. You lose to Ohio State, or Ohio State coach continue to lose to Michigan. Your days are numbered. And speaking of which, I think speaking of days and numbered, Day has one more season. I don't think he'll beat Michigan next year. Next year will be his last at Ohio State, if you ask me. Okay, so and this was what happened with Lloyd Carr. Lloyd Carr 1-7 against Tressel. Tressel came in bringing in the athletic mobile quarterbacks. Carr didn't want to keep up, and they didn't. I was calling for his head long before he decided to retire because he was keeping us behind the 8 ball. But Michigan went and got something. They went and got a gimmick, trying to change the dynamic of Michigan football, so to speak, without keeping some of its true traditional type of players and different things like that. They hired my man Rich Rodriguez. Rich Rod, they called him. Came in with this. Man, it was a Pop Warner Supreme type of ball program. I think he lasted 2.5 seasons, almost 3 seasons. But you had to fire him because what he was doing was something unheard of. He brought Mickey Mouse play to the Big Ten, and we lost. There we go. Have a mic problem. But anyway, he brought in Mickey Mouse type of play, Mickey Mouse type players. I was not an advocate or a fan of that. What's his name? The little shoestring dude or whatever, shoelaces or what have you, Bernard. I forget his name. And they was running a 3-3-5 on defense, man. It was just crazy, man. Didn't have our traditional, it's crazy. There we go. It's crazy how things go bad on y'all. But anyway, we did have a traditional type of, we lost the linemen. Michigan was known for linemen, had left tackles were always All-Americans, and we was missing all those things during the Rich Rod years. And in my opinion, Rich Rod set Michigan back, man, was almost the equivalent of the death penalty that SMU received back in the day when they had James Craig James and Eric Dickerson and them, that Pony Express over there at SMU, man. SMU came out of nowhere. But we found out, they was paying pretty good over there. But Rich Rod changed things up, and it was sickening, man. I was tired, and I was really frustrated. It was hard watching Michigan football these years. The latter stage of Lloyd Carr before he retired, it was getting ridiculous because, like I said, he couldn't beat Ohio State. He couldn't play. They see something mobile, they didn't know what they were doing. During his stage, then you walked into Rich Rod. They finally got rid of Rich Rod, walked into Brady Hoke. Brady Hoke was a former Michigan assistant coach, and he came in and he tried to change and get things going. He kind of, he made a strong effort and changed the culture a little bit, started turning it a little bit, just turning, and then start turning around just a touch. But like I was telling, I always said that once Rich Rod had been terminated, the path back to glory was going to take probably anywhere from 2 to 4 head coaches. We got lucky. We only had to do 2. In comes Jim Harbaugh. Now, like I said, you don't have to always outside of the off the field, his personality, whatever it is. I don't know. You know, I've never met the man. He is on my bucket list. Would love to meet him and just talk shop with him. But he came in, his coaching record and prowess and style has to it speak for itself. Given time, we turn things around. And I caught a lot of flack. I was catching flack left and right from a lot of people, different sports groups that I was involved in without the Facebook community, personal friends, people in passing. I supported him. I support, and I still support him. And you know, I don't want to do this "told you so" thing, but I told you so. Given time, stock the shelves, get those players back, the Michigan style players that we have, the offensive linemen that we have as they dominated, the defensive front as they dominated. You know, you get those people and get that personnel back in. They got the little turnover glasses, the buffs. Now you know you kind of gravitating to the coach of these young men out there. And what I thought was real slick when he suspended the first 3 games of the season, he had 3 different head coaches, 3 different assistants provided or stepped in as head coach during that time. And then the last 3, he gave it to Sharon Moore. Black head coach, man. And Michigan's never had a black head coach, you know, but even though he was a little interim for them 3 days, it was great. I mean, it was cool. I mean, so he pushing all the buttons, saying the right stuff, not saying a lot. He just doing a whole bunch of things, and he feeding off of this energy that the media and the press keep giving, and they just keep coming, they keep coming, they keep coming, and that's where the bet came in. And lo and behold, we walk away with a Natty. Again, first one since '97. I was a co-share one in a solo since 1948, and this was the last college football playoff under this particular format. This was just the 14 format. I think the first one started in 2014, and when they first decided to go to the format outside of, you know, just like they used to do at the coaches poll and the AP poll, I always felt that it should at least went from like 6 to 8 teams, you know, give that underdog a chance to get in there. You know, the team, like say for instance, like where Florida State seemed to have gotten slighted. You know, Ohio State kind of got slighted in his own little way. There's some other little teams that I thought, you know, but now next season, this up and coming season 2024, they're going to a 12-team format, and which I think it should be pretty exciting for NCAA football, and it's gonna give dark horse that chance to maybe able to run and pull off some great things. But like I said, like him or not, Jim Harbaugh, you got to respect what he's done as far as putting talent, putting teams together. This is the type of coach that, you know, Michigan is type of team, and Harbaugh's type of coach. He likes to impose his will on other opposing teams. As you can see with the run dominant situation going on with Michigan versus why. Pardon me. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, it came out running, and it, you know, ball control. You keep you know, how wow, this is crazy, man. I ain't never had these many problems. So, and that's what they did. This Michigan team that they put together now is built to handle any type of situation. They put numbers up, keep the numbers down. I didn't think it was going to be a high scoring game because I felt that Michigan was going to impose their will on Washington, and which they did. And that's going to lead us up to this, man. You, like I said, for you Michigan fan Harbaugh hater, this is my told you so moment. I told you so. I told you so. I would do that dance that lady did on I think it's Script. I told you so. I told you so. But they champions. Respect the man's genius. Respect his record. I was in love with him especially when he was at Stanford. He had a dual middle linebacker, was starting middle linebacker, and he played starting fullback, all just the same, playing both sides of the ball. I mean, it's just what it is, just dominance and an imposing will. But and speaking of imposing, we got this segment too. Oh goodness, this might come on, baby, come back to me. I'm gonna have to check it out. I never had these type of problems with this thing. Anyway, so we got a segment. We go move on to the segment. We stay on code no matter what, and we always keep it a buck. And that's gonna lead us into my man Michael Penix Jr. Okay. Michael Penix Jr. And I got this. Matter of fact, speaking of which, we go to put this clip together. Hold on. Let me put this clip on here real quick. Share my screen. Just bear with me. Okay. Uh-oh, hold on. That's not the one. Let's see. Is this it? Hold on. I'm working on it. But man, Michael Penix Jr., he goes on. Interview. And he says that he didn't feel that Michigan he didn't feel. Let me see. Let me get this on here. I'm working. Just work with me. Hold on. No thanks. Okay. I'm getting it together. It's hard. Let me see. Hold on. Want that one? Oh, this one. Oh, this one. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. No, we want that like that. No, we want no. Where's the other screen at? Hold on. I'm working on it. Hold on. Here it is. We take this screen. I hope y'all can see this. I gotta turn this other thing down. But I'm gonna show this. Let me see where we at. Let's run it. Okay.
Pain and injury all season long. Look at Penix. Walked in overflowing with confidence, battered and beaten by that Michigan defense. And just one of those nights, Kirk, when everything that had looked so easy and effortless was just really difficult and challenging and uncomfortable tonight for him.
Yeah, it was.
Look at him.
Instead of looking at him like what
he beat up
Michael Penix, I think it's more
Michigan man. Come show him a little love.
It's really more about Harrell and that Michigan defense and what they did tonight. He was beat up.
But you're right. What's remembered about this guy is what he did all season long.
This young man had 4, I guess, game-ending or season-ending injuries. Why
he's emotional because it's the last go and the last time he gets to be with this particular group
limping
of seniors.
Limping through the stadium.
We're there in the awful time for Washington. The 4-8
limping through the stadium. He's limping through the stadium, and he goes on. Let's see. What did this young man say? Let's see what he said. And we go tell you exactly what he said. Let's get that article out there. Where that article at? Okay, this particular article was written by Brendan Deeg, Deeg. This is from the oh my goodness. I can't think of that page. Sports page. I get it in just a second, but this the writer. This particular what's the name? It says Penix laminates mistakes during the CFP title loss. We beat ourselves. That's the headline. We beat ourselves. Okay. Now, it says, despite the lopsided 34-13 score during the CFE title game Monday, Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. believes the results was more due to the Huskies' mistakes rather than the Michigan dominance. Now, this is the funny thing about this. While I was watching that game, I put a post out there that and I try not to talk like this about players and different things like this. Not little or me like I can affect somebody's money or anything like that, but you still don't want no real bad type press, or you just don't want that stuff floating around like that. So I'm watching this game, and Michigan put on, their defensive front. It was pressure. I think he only ended up really getting sacked once or twice, but the pressure was there, as you can see how he was walking out at the end of the game. So I'm sitting here saying to myself, you said that, it was due to your mistakes. And he also goes on and said they're a good team. We just didn't execute in the moments when we needed to. Penix said post-game, according to Kyle Berger Banagura of ESPN, it's just about executing. I don't feel like they did anything. I feel like we beat ourselves. And this is quotes from him. Now, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, dudes, you walk into the tunnel looking like a kid lost in the mall, like where was his mother and father to come get him and come find him, he's looking for security, finds out I'm lost, obviously in pain, almost looking like a dope fiend on dog food who ain't had no hit, looking for his next fix. I'm not saying the man's on dope. I'm just telling you the body language that was given off. It was the signs. He looked like a man that was beat up. And I'm like, aside for that, you walk out of there, you got your head down, you got a towel covering your face. Apparently tears is coming out. I'm like, where's the man? Where's the young man? Where's the young man who can just fess up and just realize you took a whooping that night? Your body language. I mean, did you look at you? Did you look at you? Your body language said you were beaten up. You were sore. You were beaten. They were getting to you. Now, here's the thing that, and I didn't want to go here on this, but not only was he beaten up physically, I have to say that I felt that he was beaten up mentally too, just as well. It showed, they showed it. I've seen it. How about taking a step forward, a step or two forward when that rush is coming from the outside? How about tucking in and taking off and running? I think that was probably he probably unable to do so because he'd been injured. He suffered a few injuries during his tenure or whatever during his college football career. He's suffered a little bit. So what we got here? Who is this? Oh, appreciate you stopping by, DJ. That's my man, DJ Los. Appreciate you stopping by, boss. But yeah, so you got blood. You got him. I mean, all the symptoms. You got all the symptoms, but you said you beat yourselves. But all the symptoms say that you got beat up. Your body language says this. The way you walked out of the it was like, I remember we had this department store here in Michigan. I'm a Detroiter. I'm Detroit born and raised on the corner of Tuxedo and Webb, and we had this department store, major department store here in Michigan. I'm not sure if they were somewhere else at the time, but I think it was called Hughes's and Hatchers. Hughes's and Hatchers. It used to be downtown on Woodward. And I remember one time, playing around and was hiding from my mother or whatever, and popped out and she wasn't there. And I went crying, boo-hooing, got lost. You had to go find a salesperson, see if you go, oh, I'm lost, you crying or whatever. And that's how he looked when he was walking through the tunnel. And then but the difference was like when my mother came, or when she came and she found me or whatever, it wasn't a nice ending. That's when you got that was back in the day when you got whooped, out in public, and it was no repercussions. You ain't had to worry about going to jail and nothing like that, or back in the day, it's like you get towed up where you act up, and I remember getting towed up down there in Hughes's and Hatches, and that's the way he looked walking off the towel on your face, man up. Then you go on to say that it's just about executing. I don't feel like they did anything. I feel like we beat ourselves. You beat up. Did you beat yourself up? Did you sack yourself? Did you hurry yourself? And with that being said, I'm watching this guy. He put on the passing display. They were doing some bombardier stuff over there in Washington. Problem I had with him yesterday, and he was actually one of the Heisman candidates too. I'm gonna have to question some of the folks that sent him to New York too, because what I seen was a young man that's got a lot of stuff to work on. And it wasn't, like I said, just a physical thing. Michigan beat him up mentally too. He was gun shy, overthrowing, missing receivers, due partly to the pass rush, failure to step forward, a lot of slinging, sidearm, rip fliss type passes off his back foot, not stepping into his throws. It was just so many things. So I'm looking at this guy, dude. You're gonna need whoever drafts him, you're gonna need a conditioning coach, because you gotta, help him bend some of them injuries, and you're gonna need a psych, a mental psych, because I feel like this young man was dejected, and you just wasn't being truthful with yourself. Michigan pressured Washington, which is a cause and effects. So technically, yeah, you did kind of beat yourself because you didn't perform like you were supposed to, but it was pressure that was put on you that forced you to act the way that you don't normally act. I told you earlier that day, I wasn't really worried about him as far as being a passer or a dynamic, because I felt that Michigan's defense was strong enough, and I love the corner over there. The corner just so I haven't got the MVP of the defense, the young man Johnson. He go have a job on Sunday coming soon. But it was the pressure that caused you all to act this way. The number one receiver, I forget that young man's name for Washington. He was kind of a no-show, but that was probably due to Penix missing him a few times too, and that was that Michigan pressure. So what I'm saying is, don't lose and then turn around and be a sore loser on top of it. Take the towel off your face, man. Walk out of there with your head high, like a young man, like a man. And you live on and fight another day and play another day. This is the one thing you can't get that back. I know y'all gonna miss each other. Heard JJ McCartney say that, basically he told you all that was his last game and U of M, playing days end sometime. But you gotta take that L and respect the people who put it on you. That's all I'm saying. Don't walk away. You walked out looking beaten and battered. All these to me. And I really didn't want to say this, but all this to me, I'm questioning your draft status. I just didn't like what I seen. Did not perform well under pressure. And don't get me wrong, even the professionals that's playing on Sunday have problems when they get pressure. They have problems when they get pressure. But for some reason, it just seemed like mentally he was just lost, and they got him. They got him. He was shook, and he couldn't recover. Spent a lot of time side arming, throwing off his back foot, just flicking it out there with the wrist flick, not stepping into his passes. You're getting that pass rush. But then again, Michigan was rushing him up front too, just the same. But when you're getting that pass rush coming from the outside, take a step or two up, and maybe you can hit one of the receivers that was actually open a little bit further down. But the pressure was affecting you so bad, trying to dump to what the closest man you seen. And the interception, the first ball you throw coming into the second half, which was a pivotal drive, because that you just down and score. That drive was important, and due to that pressure, toss some little toss a little softball out there, and it ended up getting picked off. We got to man up, young man. You got to man up. You didn't beat yourselves. Michigan put that thing on you, and recognize that. Okay, Michael Penix Jr. Recognize that. You didn't beat yourself, bruh. Michigan put it on you. what was that Ja Rule? Put it on me. Yeah, that Ja Rule thing. Put it on me. You know what I'm saying? Guys, let's keep it 100, man. And that's what we do. Like I said, that's what I said. We stay on code, man, no matter what. And we always keep it a buck. And keeping it a buck, like I said, guy, you don't walk out of there. I mean, you walked out looking like you was I'm not sure where that young man from. We got some one of our little league organizations here in Detroit called PAL, Police Athletic League, and his body language and what I seen walking through that tunnel or walking to that tunnel, was that of a, what number did he have on? He wear number 9. Yeah, that was the language of a 9-year-old. When you go to the little league game and they didn't play or they didn't play well, they lost. You crying. This guy was, I ain't gonna say he's crying. I couldn't see, but what is the towel over the face for? Got a towel over your face, crawling literally back to the locker room, and then you go on to say, "We beat ourselves." Stop it, dude. Stop it. And because of that, that's what led me to the I was a big Lamar Jackson advocate before he was drafted. I remember everything that everyone said. Got them Jackson haters out there too, said, well, he can't throw this ball, he can't do this, he can't do that. And I defended him to the tilt. Now Lamar's looking like he's walking into his second NFL MVP. You don't get MVPs and at the highest level and can't produce, and he's producing. So nonetheless, you come out here, you have a bad performance, mechanics look bad, didn't step up in the pocket, didn't lead the pocket when you needed to, took a whooping, sidearming, wrist flick passes. That's not gonna get you. That's not gonna do it in the next level. So I'm looking at him like, if you draft this dude, you not only, like I said, not only you have to get a strength and conditioning coach, you got to get a psychologist, a mental. You got to give a self-esteem coach for him too. I think his self-esteem is bad. Raise your head, take the towel off your face, and you walk out like a man. That was just in a tough fight. That's more respectable. Okay, I ain't gonna just keep ragging on him because, like I said, I don't want that. I can't get that man draft stock to drop none. But I'm just saying, and I'm not trying to. But what I seen, like I said, I'm not even so sure why he was in New York. I'm just being honest. I'm just being 100. Why was he in New York? I don't understand it. Man, I'm your host. I go by New, just a simple NEW. Get a chance, check out them DMs. Go over to my YouTube channel. I think, like I said, it's at NoFanTV20. Hit the like button, subscribe, get the notification bell. Then when we going live. I think we viewing it on what is that other thing? Instagram, trying to do the gram. And of course, you see it here on YouTube, on Facebook as well. Got that NFL playoff weekend coming up. We're gonna talk about that too. Now the NFL, the college football season is over with. We running into the basketball. March Madness will be right around the corner. Be here before you know it. Got some exciting stuff talking about. We're gonna talk about players that changed the game in college basketball. We got something coming up with that too, real soon. We're gonna do some of that too, just the same. And it's kind of bittersweet. College football season is over with, but my hometown team, University of Michigan, came away. They won the national championship, silenced a lot of our local Michigan haters and global haters as well. And I just hope he stays, man. I want Harbaugh to stay. I truly, I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. I do not want to see any more of those lean years. I'm on full fan mode now. I'm straight groupie slappy on this one, but I just want him to stay. I don't want to watch Michigan under those conditions again. Those were some real lean years. Wasn't nothing pleasant about it. It was just flat out ugly, man. So I'm on the let's keep Harbaugh in Michigan train. And you know, let's just keep him here at Michigan, man, so we can go on. Maybe we can make, you know, put a strong run at that Bama record, you know. Again, I'm your host. I go by New. Appreciate you stopping by. If you didn't get a chance to talk about live, man, shoot something in the comments. Let me know you was here. Day late and a dollar short. Appreciate you stopping by. Hail to the victors. Like I said, we got some other stuff coming. Get over there, check out them other DMs, man. Hit the like, support, all that great stuff, man. And I get at y'all next time, man. You know what they say? Is it great? It's great to be a Wolverine, or, you know, hail to the victors, hail to the champions of the champions of the West. You know, the whole shebang, man. The whole shebang. The whole shebang, man. Again, I appreciate y'all stopping by. Again, shout out my man DJ Los, man. Appreciate you, bro. You know this.